talking wheelchair blues. I went for a jog in the city air. I met a woman in a wheelchair. Says, I'm sorry to see you're handicapped. She says, what makes you think a thing like that? And she looked at me real steady and she says, you want to drag? So she started to roll and I started to run. She ran the pants off my aching buns. You know, going uphill I'd hit my stride, but coming down she'd sail on by. And when I finally caught up with her, she says, not bad for someone able-bodied. You know, with adequate care and supervision, you could be taught simple tasks. So how about something to eat? Well, I says that would suit me fine. We're right near a favorite place of mine. So we moseyed on over there, but the only way in was up a flight of stairs. Gee, I never noticed that, says I. No problem, the maitre d' replied. There's an elevator round the back. So we made it up the stairs on the elevator with the garbage flies and last week's potatoes. I said, like a table for my friend and me. He says, I'll try and find one out of the way. And he says, is she going to be sick pee on the floor, throw some kind of fit? I says, no, I don't think so. You see, she once had polio, but that was 20 years ago. But if the matter of the fact is told, simple truth, she can't walk. So he points to a table, she rolls her chair. Some folks look away and others stare. A woman grabs her little girl and says, keep away, honey, that woman's ill. We felt right welcome. Then a man stands up and he starts to babble about the devil and the Holy Bible. Says, woman, you're afflicted with pernicious sin. Praise Jesus, you walk again. Then he goes back to his table and he sits down. Well, the waiter says, what can I get for you? I says, I'll have your special imported brew. He says, what about her? I says, who? He says, her. Oh, you mean my friend here? He says, yeah. I says, well, what about her? He says, well, what does she want? Well, I says, why don't you ask her? So, of course, he apologizes and says he's never waited on a cripple before. Well, she talks to the manager when we're through and says there's some things you could do to make it easier for folks in wheelchairs. He says, oh, that's not necessary? Handicapped never come here anyhow. Well, I bid farewell to my newfound friend. I said, I'm beginning to understand just a little bit of how it feels to roll through life on a set of wheels. She says, don't feel sorry, don't feel sad. I take the good along with the bad. I was arrested once in a protest demo, and the police had to let me go. You see, we were objecting to the fact that public buildings aren't wheelchair accessible. Turned out the jail was the same way. Lovely. Anyhow, I look at it this way. In 50 years, you'll be worse off than I am now. You see, you give us a name and then you give us a place, but we're all the same in this human race. Some of us are called disabled, and the rest of you, well, the rest of you are only temporarily able-bodied.